Everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and we're back in the Monster Manual, and now we're on the Bugbear. The Bugbear is basically a 7-foot tall, thick, bear-like dude. They're a goblinoid. They're the biggest goblinoid, and they're not really anything spectacular. They prefer to be fighters and thieves. They're not particularly intelligent. And what I have here is one of the Dungeon Swag Bugbears, and our Bugbears are actually only about 6.5 foot tall, not quite 7 foot tall in scale, if you were to hold it up next to another miniature. But I guess that's kind of hard to say because these aren't really standing up straight either. But if you put them base to base with that guy, see that guy's 6 foot tall, he's about 6.5 foot tall. So if he was standing up straight, he's a little taller. But this is a Bugbear one. I've made some little modifications to this for personal preference. This maul came all the way down to the base, and I didn't like that. And then his horns were very symmetrical, so I snipped off that little tip there to make it kind of different, because I didn't want it to look like his antlers that he had put on his head were too perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out and we're going to paint this dude. And maybe I should hit him with a little hot air first, because I just dry brushed him down white. Alright, so to do this guy, what I essentially did was I base coated him in all black matte primer. Then I dry brushed him with white until it got lighter and lighter and lighter, and up at the top it's just, pardon me, pure white. So I could have made a Bugbear, I guess, and my original plan was not even to make a Bugbear. It was something similar to this. I have a Bugbear champion miniature that is a pre-paint that I really hated, and I was going to cut his weapon out and give him a better weapon and make him better. But then I was like, well, I have brand new Bugbears that need painted that resell. Might as well do those. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm just going to get a little bit of this Crusader skin color, and I'm going to base coat his skin with this, mixed with a little bit of Sand Golem. And he doesn't have a whole lot of skin on him on this model. So I'm just going to hit all the skin first. Oh, that's a sleeve. That's not a skin. Okay, well, okay. I guess only his face and his hands are skin. We'll come back and darken that up later then. Come back and darken that back up and turn it into skin again. So what we're trying to accomplish here is to get a good looking Bugbear. And now these are Dungeon Swag Bugbears, so these guys are relatively inexpensive. If you have the monthly loot crate and you get your Bugbear month, your Bugbears are about $2 a piece-ish. I think you get 8 Bugbears for $16 after shipping. So yeah, it's about $2 each-ish. A little bit less, really. But, and that's with shipping included, too, mind you. If you take shipping out, what you're going to pay on them is anything you buy. That drives the price up exponentially. So, Sven, the artist who makes our Bugbears, is just a phenomenal, talented dude. It's phenomenal. Alright, so that's where we're at now on our Bugbear. We got his skin parts covered, and I think I'm just going to assume that those arms under here are skin, even though they're blatantly not now that I'm looking at the model. They're blatantly fabric, but I'm just going to do them like that because I think it'll look alright. Okay, so next I'm going to do his clothing parts, his cloak and his fabrics and stuff. I'm just going to get this hardened leather. It's like a medium brown. I'm going to mix it a little bit with that. I'm going to drag it out. And I'm going to hit his clothing. Try not to get his hair if I can help it. See, he's got some braids coming down. Try not to get on his hair or his cloak if I can help it. Of course I just did. Of course I did. Alright. Then he's got some kind of loincloth thing here. And I noticed I just missed his leg. Some of the flesh on his leg, so I'm going to come over and steal some of that and hit that. There's the distinctive sound of my older son's girlfriend's car. I guess they're here. I'm going to come back and get that darker and finish up that loincloth thing. I'm going to come around the side and just kind of drag all that into it as one color. One darker tone. Alright, so I'm going to do his little side armors with that too, and then I'm going to dry brush those down to something else probably at some point. Okay. That's where we're kind of at. Then I'm going to get a darker brown. This is dark wood. This is really dark. And I'm going to get that. And I'm going to drag some of that over and some of that over. Make something a little darker. And I'm going to do his boots. With that. And just get those all darkened up. Looking good. Am I on camera here? Yeah, okay. So I'm just darkening those up and bringing those to where they need to be. Lighten that, it's a little bit too dark. Now I'm using speed paints here. If you don't have speed paints, make sure you're thinning your paint out and making it do the work for you. Don't coat so thick that you're spending 10 days dry brushing down, or you're going to be like, oh hell. Now I'm coming up and getting behind the shield. I'm not sure what the backing of a shield's called. Maybe it's just called backing. I'm going to do this like, I don't know what you would call that, like a girdle, maybe. Do this girdle part and this darker brown. I'm going to use less of that lighter brown mixed in and more of just a darker brown. I'm going to do his upper arm sleeve parts here. Try to capture his gloves with that too as carefully as we can. We don't want to smear this all over the place. These are small and I'm rushing a little bit. Go. And I think we'll use that dark and do the handle of his dealy bob here too, because it looks like it's wrapped in leather or bandages or something. And I guess these dudes are smarter than, like, you know, a goblin in general, but they're not probably super focused on the beauty of crafting. That'd be my guess. This mall is pretty sick. I'm guessing the homeboy here didn't make it. Or his cousin Ufa didn't make it. So the front of his shield has an interesting pattern, and it looks like it's probably metal, so I'm going to leave that be. I'm gonna come back over here and steal a little bit of this while it's still wet. I noticed a spot on his hand that I missed somewhere. There it was, right there. I'm gonna hit this some a little better. Check his face. Tip his nose off. All right. Now I'm gonna do the antlers on his helmet next, and for that I'm just using pallid bone, and so that it's not too dark and grimy, I'm going to pull this out to the edge, and there's some leather wrappings on here. We're going to come back and hit those later with a small brush and bring those to life a little bit. But these are like leather wrappings because this dude just like tied this giant moose antler thing to his hat. Something like that. All right, so we need a bright color on him to kind of like wake this up. And I don't know what color we could do his cloak. I think his cloak would be where we could do a bright color. So I have some different greens here. There's an orc skin, there's an absolution, and then camo cloak. I think that camo cloak's a little dark. Let's try this absolution green and see what it looks like. I'm just coming up under here. Oh, I colored the animal fur of his cloak with it accidentally, not thinking. That's all right, we'll just color it all with that now. And if we want to come back and change it to something later, we can. Now on this fabric, if you're using speed paints like I am, I would let it be thick enough to let the speed paint do its job. And then on these long swatches where you don't want it to be as dark, where it's real thin, like real flat, I try to like smooth those in one direction so it kind of doesn't leave a pattern or anything. Then we got to come back up here and we got to do this hood on his cloak. Having just a little trouble seeing where that comes around to the front at because my eyes are not what they used to be. And then this little thing right here is like a rolled up scroll thing with his beard wrapped around it or something. I'm just going to paint that too because I don't know what the hell it's supposed to be about. And I like this green color. Okay. That brightened him up quite a bit. Let's get a metallic on some of this metal stuff going real quick. Oops, that's more than I wanted. So, start with his shield. Get this rim around the back of his shield, try to make it look nice. Let's get some of this little metal armor parts here. Make the little handle he's holding on to metal too, or why not? I think that's most of the metal we needed to get. Let's get our brush a little damp and get this down in his weapon here. Usually with Armory Painter I don't need to thin anything down, but when there's a lot of detail on this, on these really all Sven's minis have a lot of detail. So sometimes when these details are really tiny and fine like this, I do water it down a tad just to make sure I get it all in the cracks and everything. But normally, you know, if I was painting like a D&D mini or a Reaper or something, you know what I mean, I'd just use it wet like it is. Call it a win. Okay. Make sure we got all that covered. Missed that little piece on his leg there. That's okay. We'll just pick that up real quick. So yeah, making a Bugbear probably wasn't the play there. Using this Bugbear seems to be fine. Now I don't know what color I want to do his hair in. So the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and try this darker brown. And I'll mix it with a little of that bone color and see what it looks like. And just hit that on his hair. Okay, let's come back and let's let him start to dry off. Let's focus up on his base for a minute. Oh, I smell fire going. I know what's going on there. We're having hobo pies. Yum, yum. If you don't know what a hobo pie is, it's not a derogatory term. there's this little sandwich machine you put in campfires. Coda, hope it's not really a machine, but a little sandwich. It's like a little press. It folds in half, and you put it in a fire and cook with it. And you put a piece of bread, whatever topping you want, in a piece of bread, and then you fold it inside that with whatever toppings. You know, like my favorite kind to make is like with pizza, so I use like pizza sauce and pepperoni and mozzarella. Then you can put apple pie filling or cherry filling or whatever you really want in there. And just make yourself a little hobo pie. And for Mother's Day, I bought Mrs. Doom a new fire pit for the backyard. Like one of those contained ones with the... You could put the metal grating on it and cook right on it if you wanted to, or you could just... you know, cook on the fire. And so yesterday when we came back from the lake, everybody was all excited. We were making hobo pies and hot dogs. And there's rumor today there might even be some s'mores going on, but yesterday there was no s'moring. I'm just using some of this up because we have it, just to show that our dirt's not all one color. If you've been watching it all, you know that I talk about dirt being lots of colors all the time. It's just my thing. Doesn't have to be my thing, but somehow it's kind of a joke. And that's all right. Close friends and family that watch say that if I say the dirt thing one more time that people aren't going to watch the channel. But what if you're a first-time person? You've never been here. You know, you might not know about my dirt complaints. We don't want anybody to feel left out, do we? Nah, we don't want anybody to feel left out. Alright, we're going to come back and hit him with a hairdryer, because I think most of the speed paint should be dry. I don't really like to use hairdryers on miniatures a whole lot, honestly. We got a lot of work to do on this fella, and we got a little bit of time to do it. So now we need to do something with the metallics because they're really bright. So what I'm getting here is Gravelord Gray, and I'm getting a brush that has a little more coverage. It's not the right one. I'm pulling that out. I'm going to come in here and hit this shield with it. So I think the secret to success on something like this part would be that on each little panel you do of metal, use a different thickness of the gray, of this Gravelord, or whatever wash you're using, or whatever you're using to change up your shield and other metals. And that the ones where you use a little bit, it's going to have a bigger effect than where you use a lot, and it's going to give some nice variation that this guy could use. I'm going to use quite a bit on his weapon. All right. Let's switch around and get some dry brushing going. Let's get rid of that. Let's go here. So we have the straps on his hammer and some other spots I'd like to clean up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get something like a crappy old brush that's got a small tip. Okay. Something like that. I'm actually going to do a little snippet on that because it's getting a little, from where I did it last time, it's getting a little, there we go, a little crazier than I wanted it to. Alright, so I'm going to get that. I'm going to wipe a lot of that off. I'm just going to kind of touch on that handle and show some variation. Then I'm going to do a little bit of that on his boots on the outsides. Oh, what'd I do there? Did I get something on there? I sure did get something on there. That happens. Sorry, let's lighten that up with this first. And we'll come back and get it with the other. Okay. Let's wash that brush out. Get a little bit of a lighter green. Oh, that's not mixed up at all. There we go. Get that same cheapy brush. I'm going to wipe all that off almost. We're just going to hit some of these higher spots up on the cloak. I'd like to come back and fix that too, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this little brush and this brown. I'm going to get all this fur. I'm going to brown it up some. And you see there's a little bit of silver right there on the fur. I'm just going to take some green and cover that up. So anyways, there's a lot of brown on that fur, or a lot of green on this fur we got to cover up. It's going to take 2 coats probably. But I warned you, we had a lot of work to do still, because being lazy in your planning phase always gets you in the end. We're going to use a +2 hot air gun of burning. Dry that brown up. Get that thin brush back. And hit that again real quick. It's another coat of brown. And I was rushing there, and I just got some brown where his cloak goes. So we're going to get that brush. We're going to come in here and clean that off. And we get that green and just do the same thing we just did. And we'll do it on that side too. And a little bit around there. Kind of make it work as part of that. And we're going to need some kind of color to fix the antler where I messed it up. So we're going to use that. This is called Mummy Robes. It's a pretty close match, I think, to what we had going on. Oh, no, it's not. All right, no problem. No problem. We'll just make it work. Fake it till we make it. And this is actually kind of working out for us, because now we can just ignore those straps. Paint the antler this color, and then come back and hit it with something else. So don't worry, that worked out in our favor. Oh, come on, you. Okay. Let's get something lighter. Clean this brush out. Get that crap brush we were using a minute ago. Nope. Okay, here we go. Try that again. All right. Oh, way too much. It was all my fault. You saw it. Okay. Alright. We need a light gray to quickly touch the rocks down here and make them look a little cartoony and fantasy. Just hit the tops of this a little bit. We need some clear. Oh, sorry, tooth. Threw shit all over the place. There we go. Get up. Get a little bit of white glue, clear glue. Oh. There we go. Set that off to the side and get some black paint. So with this black paint, I'm just going to go around the edge, because I do this on my fantasy miniatures. And all the spot that's not raised up ground or rock, I'm just going to drag this around. If your paint starts getting a little clumpy, just dip the very tip of it in some water or wipe it off and use your mouth like I do. Okay, something like that. Took us about 35 minutes. Looks good enough for the tabletop, I would say. It's an interesting miniature, to say the least. Bugbear by Dungeon Craft. Or not Dungeon Craft, I'm a liar. Which Dungeon Craft? What is that? Oh, that's a YouTube channel. Not by Dungeon Craft, sorry. Bugbear by Dungeon Swag. We're going to hit this with a hot air gun again. We're going to get some flock on here. So we got our glue, our clear glue. We're just going to touch some spots where we want to break up this base and add some vibrance to it. And we're going to use that moss flock that I tend to like to use over the past few months here. All right, everybody, let's check this out. So again, I couldn't really make a Bugbear from scratch very well, could I? Maybe I could have, but I did make this guy, paint him up, I assembled him, put him together, and that is my Dungeon Swag Bugbear. So if you like our miniatures, there's a link to get the... I didn't do his eyes. He doesn't need eyes. If you like our miniatures, there's a link in the description to get some. Pardon me. There's a discount code to get a free mini to try us out, and there's another code to get a month off your first loot crate, which... you know, being that I have a box of Bugbear sitting here, I don't know what the next loot crate is, but we have orcs, we have bugbears, we have hobgoblins, we have goblins, we have humans of multiple varieties, we got cat people, we got turtle people, we got cow people, we got goat people, we got bear people, we got everything you can think of. Go on the website, check it out, build yourself, start building yourself a sweet miniature collection for dirt cheap. And these are high quality. I mean, look at this. This is super flexible. That's not damaging it in any way. These are durable and they're amazing. So I'm going to hit this guy with some clear coat. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check us out on Discord and become one of our homies and paint with us and hang out. So this has been Doom. Thanks for watching.